Welcome to the official AFL Fantasy podcast with the Traders.
G'day with the Traders, I'm Roy, I coach Destroy, and I'm here with Warnie.
Coach of the Wanderers.
And Calvin.
Coach of Gowan,
And Cal. You're taking it away today, mate.
We are, and we're looking at the Richmond Tigers.
Yes,
now,
you are.
Not often fantasy relevant, the Tigers.
And they're still, well, we'll get to this.
Yeah.
So we're coming off the last time we had a chat was about the Bulldogs.
Yep, massive.
How many players averaged a ton last year?
6 or 5.
Okay, right. I've got a question for you. How many Richmond players have averaged 100, let's go, in the last 5 years? Go.
Oh, Dusty would have.
Once, back in 2017, that's 5 years ago.
What was that, like 110?
That was his 112, like a Brownlow season that was. Who else?
Pressia done it, like when
Nope.
he's played a few games and just done
No,
it.
he
If
hasn't.
you take out Meatball's injuries, he would have done it.
No, he hasn't done it. Who else?
Hooley would have done.
Hooley has done it.
Yep.
There's 2. Okay,
Anyone
so we
else?
just spoke about a team that has done...
And is that the answer?
Is that done?
That's it.
No wonder we were thinking
This
that.
is
Around
my
5 years.
This is my point.
Yeah.
Richmond do not produce fantasy scores. And when we talk about these guys in a moment, I want you to keep that in mind.
Look.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's stop this. Thanks for tuning in.
No. Because
The problem is
Yes?
they haven't had the cattle to do it.
Okay, I knew this would come up.
Oh,
They've been an elite team.
Right.
But they haven't had the individual.
They have had the cattle. They've had Dion Prestia, who's averaging a ton at the Gold Coast Suns.
Yeah.
Dion doesn't play.
But he goes to Richmond and they make him worse. I'm just saying.
It's only injuries that have kept him from averaging a ton.
No, it's the team. It's the way they play, and that's why they do not have anyone that averages a ton. Okay.
It's dimmer.
They won premierships through pressure because they didn't have anyone in that elite category apart from Dusty.
I don't know if you know
And
how
Bull.
fantasy scores work, but you don't score points for pressure.
No,
Okay?
and that's why they haven't done it. Now they've got some talent to run through as well.
So the talent we're talking about is Timmy Time.
Yeah.
Timmy Taranto. He's averaged 104 across the last 4 years.
Yes.
All right? He's there for midfield time.
Yeah,
Okay,
big
so
time.
at the Giants, he only had 44% of CBAs last year to average his 96.
That was a joke.
Okay. The start of the year, they loved him.
Yeah.
Okay, he had heaps of CBAs and he averaged 102 in his first 7.
Yeah.
In his last 7, they knew he wanted a trade. They knew he was out.
Yeah.
His CBAs go down the drain and he averaged 90.
Yeah.
I have concerns about
Who's
what...
that? Taranto.
Taranto. I have concerns about what we think he's going to do at this new club.
He's back up elite numbers, pushing 110.
I can't see it
I can't see how he can't.
because he's at Richmond.
I don't think that can stop him. If he's in the mid, it cannot stop him. They haven't had anyone in the mid. So who are we going to compare him to? Like Cochin?
No, I'm not. No, I understand your point.
Like he's more of a scorer than someone like Cochin. who
We
just
are
clogs
talking
up the
about
midfield.
a team that has not produced a player
Yeah.
to average a ton.
Yes.
And one guy turns up and they're like, oh, he'll do it.
Yeah.
I
see where you're coming from.
Don't get me wrong. I think he gets his ton. Okay, I think he
Right.
gets his ton.
Yeah.
But
Well,
when-
Jayden Short was going well over a ton until he sort of sucked in the last few rounds.
Okay, let's talk
Because he
about...
played forward and
So
stuff like
Jayden
that.
Short's a prime example of this. So he nearly got a ton. Why? Because he was a defender. Hooley got a ton. Why? Because he was a defender.
Yeah.
Don't get me
No,
started.
but Short wasn't a defender though, was he? Didn't he go in the midfield?
Yeah, and then he sucked.
Yeah.
Okay. The midfield stink.
Yeah, it does. But I just think now the strength of it, it's a whole new ball game in there. So if you've got Taranto, Hopper, Dusty, Meatball, Koch, now it's all of a sudden...
I'm just saying.
Now all of a sudden they get their hands on it. They can do a bit of sharing it, a bit of showtime.
I love Taranto. I still think he's going to average 100. I think when you do your rankings for your forwards, you need to remember that he's playing for Richmond now and not the Giants.
Okay, so what's his career best average? Hasn't he done like a 115
yeah.
before?
Yep.
Goodness, come on.
He's not doing that. I'll give you a tip.
If he's in the midfield, he's not doing that much less than it.
Where do you sit on him then, dog?
Chest, shoulders.
Oh!
He's working his way.
I like him a lot. I think he's 105 plus.
Yeah.
Without
105 plus.
Yeah.
So 105 is a minimum.
Yeah.
No.
He's a good player. Like
He's
going to
fantastic.
have
That's what
this
we're
role.
forgetting here. We cannot. I think you.
It's like a
we've
lot
done
of-
well to this point, Cal, but now you're trapping us in the overthinking category. You've done this to us before. Sometimes things just need to
He's
be
not going to play
sensibly thought about.
He's not going to play as a forward.
Agree.
Your
Agree.
flag is
While
relevant.
the midfield is the issue that you're saying, that's the Richmond system.
Yes.
Does their system change now? They've got more
Good players.
Arsenal.
No, because their system wins flags.
Not for a couple of years.
Anyway,
They've got to reinvent themselves a bit.
we're just here to discuss Tim Taranto, and I think we've discussed it.
Okay. All right.
Are you picking him?
No.
Are you picking him, Roy?
What's he priced at?
95?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, maybe. Squeeze
Where's he go in your draft? Where's he rank with your forwards?
See, I'm struggling with that
You've
forward.
now got Cogs at number one.
He goes behind Cogs.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
Dunkley.
Yeah. And I think
Rosie.
So I think Rosie's a low. It could be a 102, 103, which is probably where he is.
I don't know if I have him below Cogs.
No, he can be. I think he can be higher than
I
Cogs.
think I'd take him before Cogs.
Jeez.
Look, he's a kid coming into his prime.
I know that. I'm just saying. All right, so Jacob Hopper's obviously coming along with him.
Yeah.
As a full-time mid, he averaged 94. Great player.
Hopper.
He's averaged 94 before.
No, before. Not last year.
No.
66 last year.
Keep up, mate. Yeah, so the 66 obviously makes him a massive draft sleeper with that next to his name. In Classic, he gets a little discount, but that comes off. So he's priced at 81.
So 716 grand. Yeah,
He'll do
you want him-
95.
which that's probably not enough.
He'll do 95.
Yeah.
Where are you
In the
finding
Richmond
all
system?
Where are you finding all these points?
Hopper. It's
I
Jacob
agree.
Hopper. He's actually a gun.
I'll give him 90.
Who have the Tigers
Okay.
lost?
Hey?
Tigers lost anyone to give up any points?
No. No one's
Adam
significant.
Kingsley. He may have taken all the points with him
He might have.
in his arms.
So Hopper, it's definitely bump him up in draft.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I think it's a no for Classic. Now we've got to talk about Jayden Short. Because with all these midfielders coming in, star-studded midfielders coming into the
Right.
Richmond.
They are. They
Yeah,
are actually.
star-studded.
They are.
I agree. That's why I'm saying it like that.
Okay.
Surely Jayden Short
Yeah.
gets bumped into defence.
Yeah.
So from round 7 onwards, he was a full-time midfielder. He averaged 95 as a full-time midfielder.
Which is solid.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Not 100 though.
No.
Anyway, as a defender in his first six games.
He's not a midfielder like those other two, though. He was a defender trying to find his feet in the midfield.
In the first 6 games as a defender, he went at 107. Okay.
He's much better there.
With all these guys coming in, you know what though? Dog told me the other day, because Dog's got his sources out there. I don't know if he shares them with you. He told me though.
That's all right. I don't need him. I've got Sauce himself.
Sources have seen Short training with the midfield group.
Oh, God.
But then Mitch Cleary, on a news report I saw that he did,
Yes.
didn't put him in the midfield.
See,
Talked about their midfield. Dunk, 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 dunk. Named probably about 6 players.
there's a lot in there.
No, sure.
He can't play in the midfield.
Mitch would know.
He would be better off training with the mid still.
Yeah.
That's where that would come from. Surely. Wouldn't it?
Surely.
So priced at, so he went at 98.
Yeah.
107 as a defender in his first 7 games, 6 games there. Is he an option?
He's not going to be any worse than that. If he's
No.
down back is better for him. So it's funny when pre-season's all about looking for who's getting more midfield time. We want him to get less midfield time.
Yep.
And I think he's going to. And I think his form will then reflect what he did at the start of the year.
So if he stayed as a defender, he would have averaged a ton,
Yeah.
and which would have made him and Hooley the only 2 tons.
Yeah.
And Dusty.
And Dusty.
5 years ago, 6 years ago. Moving on.
Moving on to Dusty.
We can go straight to Dusty.
I think there's a bit of value there in Dusty. isn't
Massive.
there?
Lowest input for Dusty from
Input.
output of Dusty since his debut season in 2010. Since his debut season.
Yeah.
8 games, averaging 72.
That's a bargain.
Input.
Well, it's an output. I said the wrong word.
Chasing a name there, under 700, Dusty. I
Obviously still has a
never end
midfield
up with a
status.
good team anyway. So at least having the name there would look nice.
He's one of the unlucky ones. So he averaged 72, which gets from his 8 games, so he gets that small discount, but that comes off a good average, which actually now prices him at 77.
Yeah.
But that is still cheap.
It's still cheap, all right.
He's a 90,
When
yeah?
you say a good average, it's not that good though.
What?
He's had a
For
couple of poor years.
Someone of his calibre.
Oh, yeah. So
So what are we looking for from him then to tick that off? Because if he's going to play...
Well,
say-
he was in Mitch Cleary's little midfield group.
Was he?
he definitely...
He gets mid-time.
Sure, too right he does.
He's fantastic for draft.
yes, he
Because
is.
he's got that 71 average next to his name. Like, that's...
Yeah. Gosh. At that price, that's hard not to consider in Classic.
Well, he's fit and he's firing, he's back
Well, that's all
training
he
and
would
all that
need.
sort of stuff.
What more would he need than to have an uninterrupted pre-season and play his practice match? That is so cheap, under 700.
So if he's
Dustin Martin.
if he's a 90, is that enough? You know, like it's...
As a forward it is, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Shy Bolton's another one. So he was their third most used midfielder last year.
Yeah.
Average 74. It's a no, though. Surely...
Does Shea Bolton then go more as a forward again? Because
Well, that's the other
picked up
thing.
Hopper in
I would think
Taranto.
so.
He's a guy I think also gets pushed out. They
Is he
love
going to
his-
play almost Dusty's role from the last few years?
Possibly.
I think they really like his speed and stuff through the middle, but in the last couple of years for them, they haven't really had the options. And with Hopper and Taranto coming in, something's got to give, and I think he's a person that might give. As I said, third most used midfielder.
Yeah. Well, he
Behind-
won't be top three this year.
Significant.
Surely not. No way. Nick Vlauston had his best season, averaging 90. There's a 36 in that row, Roy. You can take that one.
He did play well. Yeah.
He was in the top 15 defenders based on average. So it's obviously very draftable, but you're not touching him.
The thing is, with short back, I think he loses a
Yeah, a
little
few of
bit.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably true. Nank the Tank played 22 games for the first time ever.
God, he's just a
Was it?
draft
Yeah.
genius, Nank.
Yeah. So, and this is the thing. On your
Does anyone
draft...
need a draft in Ruckman in our keeper league?
Oh,
You got one,
I've got Nack.
do you?
Quite happy to.
are you?
I need
Offer
one.
some,
I've got Draper.
Yeah, well, we could do a deal. I need a forward.
So yeah. All right, we'll talk later.
Back on track.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, keep
so
going.
he averaged a very
Sell him
respectable...
to him. Sell him.
Very
Sell him.
respectable 86.
That's respectable.
Now, on draft day, when people are panicking around, the Grundys and the Gons and the Marshall and all these question marks over these guys, this guy's rock solid.
You can't take him at the back of the ruck run. though,
No.
can you?
You just wait to the end. He'll still be there.
There's still question marks.
There's question marks on Nang.
Well, Soldo's
Soldo.
there.
Yeah, but no. 86 last year, 22 games.
It's pretty good.
Thank the tank.
Yeah.
Getting it done.
He's a beast.
For guys under 300K, remember Judson Clark?
Yeah.
Remember him? Came on, he smacked out that. He had a massive first half, ended up with 64, then went 40-23. So he's under 300, but it's a no.
Chris Johnson.
Caleb Smith was Richmond's first drafted player at pick number 49. He averaged 71 in the Waffle Colts. Yeah, nah. And Bigoa Noyon, I think that's how you say it, Doug. He was drafted in 2019. He played one game last year. He averaged 59 in the VFL. So, and he's bargain basement price.
Yeah,
so
okay, fair enough.
out of the cheapies, and Richmond aren't one for playing.
Just blooding youth for the sake of
Yeah,
it.
so if anyone's getting a run there, they're probably none of them are, so I wouldn't worry about that. But the talking point here, though, is the Taranto, the Hopper, and the Short, and maybe the Dusty.
How many Tigers will average over 100 in 2023, Cal?
One. And
Who?
it'll be Taranto. He'll go 101, 102.
Yeah, and what
Short?
was short?
Just out. Yeah, if he's a pure defender, he'll be the same.
Right.
So we
Hopper?
could actually have... Hopper won't get a ton. No chance.
I think you've done very well
This
there.
is-
I like the waving of the flag.
It's a flag.
I just think you're underestimating Tim Taranto's ability as a midfielder if that's where he is going to play.
No, I'm not, because I know he's a gun. I get that. But I just think that to me, that is a question mark. That is a big flag, and it's a concern.
Just for him to average 95 while he was playing so much forward,
Not one Richmond midfielder
Okay.
has 100. Bulldogs?
All right. Noted, Cal. Noted.
Noted.
Thank you.
Well, Dog, you said I couldn't do it, but but I got there.
No, you did well. You did well. There might be some others to look at. Just trying to look down the list. There isn't a lot of relevance.
Mate,
is
try
there?
writing about him. Yeah. She was a
See
slog.
Jack Graham have some relevance.
Well, everyone was thinking that Graham
He
might
could
have
have
had
a breakout at some
Well,
point.
we
He's
thought
got
it
the
was going to
forward
be
status still.
We thought it was going to be last year, didn't
Yeah,
we?
sick of talking about
I
it.
wouldn't be surprised. He will not surprise us one year. He'll just do it and we'll go, oh, it's happened.
But he actually dropped last year. He went from a 78 to a 74.
Yeah.
So,
And the inclusions haven't exactly helped his cause.
no. There's no standout Daniel Rioli's there this year.
What did Rioli do for you in the
He
end?
got to 78.
Yeah.
Yeah, 78 from a 56. So that's okay.
It was just...
He was serviceable.
He was legit just up and down. So he
Wasn't
went
he ever?
56. Oh, can't believe I picked him. 101. That's why I
Yeah.
picked him. 79. Oh, God. 102.
Woo! Yeah, it was hard ride.
Rioli coaster.
It's a hard ride.
There it is. Richmond. Well done, Calvinator.
Thank you.
You can catch all of our club previews for the 2023 AFL Fantasy Preseason at Spotify, also on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And make sure you read the fantastic articles by clicking over to afl.com.au/fantasy or fire up the AFL app.